You finally catch your breath thinking the anxiety has passed. But it returns, sometimes as a whisper, sometimes as a crashing wave. No matter what you try, relief is always temporary, and the cycle repeats. This isn't a personal failing, it's a pattern millions experience, a feedback system called the anxiety loop. Understanding this loop is the first step to breaking free. The anxiety loop is a self-reinforcing cycle. A trigger, thought, memory, or sensation, sparks anxious thoughts which create fear. Your body reacts, heart pounding, shallow breath, confirming the danger. This physical response fuels more anxious thoughts, spinning the loop faster. Our instinct is to escape the feeling, but avoidance and reassurance only strengthen the loop. The good news? This is a learned habit, and habits can be changed. By recognizing the cycle, you can learn to interrupt it and reclaim your peace. The anxiety loop has 4 parts: trigger, anxious thought, fearful emotion, and physical response. A trigger, anything from a deadline to a random thought, sets it off. Your mind jumps to worst-case scenarios, fueling fear. That fear floods your system, making the threat feel real. Your body reacts, heart racing, tense muscles, convincing you the danger is real. This physical proof becomes a new trigger, restarting the cycle. Repetition makes the anxiety loop automatic, like riding a bike. Each cycle strengthens the brain's connections, making anxiety the default response. Soon, even minor triggers set off the loop unconsciously. You only notice once you're already anxious. This isn't weakness, it's a practiced mental habit. The way out isn't force, but understanding and gently building new habits. To feel safe, we develop safety behaviors. Googling symptoms, avoiding situations, seeking reassurance. These bring short-term relief, but teach your brain that anxiety triggers are dangerous. Each avoidance or reassurance strengthens the loop, making anxiety more likely next time. Safety behaviors glue the cycle together, confirming your fears. The paradox: what soothes you now keeps you stuck long-term. Recognizing this trap is the first step to freedom. You can break the loop by changing your response, not by escaping the feeling. Deep inside your brain is the amygdala, your built-in alarm system. Like a smoke detector, it constantly scans for danger and reacts instantly, triggering your body's fight-or-flight response before you even think. In people with anxiety, this alarm becomes hypersensitive, flagging safe situations as threats. Remember, this is a primitive survival system doing its job a little too well. Understanding this can be empowering. The brain's alarm system communicates with your body through the nervous system, creating a powerful link between mind and body. When you experience fear, the amygdala triggers the sympathetic nervous system, your fight-or-flight response. Your heart races, breathing quickens, and muscles tense up automatically. Each anxious event is stored as a memory. Your body remembers the sensations, not just the thoughts. The vagus nerve helps calm you, but anxiety can override it, keeping your body on high alert. That's why anxiety feels so physical. Your body has learned the pattern. Breaking the cycle means teaching your body it's safe to relax. The combination of a hypersensitive amygdala and a nervous system that stores fear patterns creates the perfect storm for the anxiety loop to take over. Over time, the brain generalizes fear to harmless triggers. This process is called trigger generalization. Your brain casts a wider net, flagging more things as threats. This hijacking process explains why anxiety feels illogical. Understanding this science is the key to your freedom. You can begin to gently rewire it. When anxiety strikes, it's natural to crave certainty and control. That's when checking and reassurance seeking take over, like checking your pulse, searching symptoms online, or asking, "Are we okay?" These actions bring brief relief, but they actually feed anxiety, making you more dependent on outside reassurance. The more you check, the less you trust yourself. In the end, you're pouring gasoline on the fire, not putting it out. Perhaps the most intuitive and powerful way we try to manage anxiety is through avoidance. If social gatherings make you panic, you stop accepting invitations. If driving on the highway triggers your fear, you start taking the long, winding back roads. If thinking about a difficult conversation makes your heart pound, you put it off indefinitely. On the surface, this strategy makes perfect sense. Why would you willingly walk into a situation that you know will cause you immense distress? Avoidance is a preemptive strike against anxiety, a way to prevent the loop from ever getting started. It feels safe. It feels like a smart and protective choice. The immediate payoff of avoidance is undeniable. By sidestepping the feared situation, you successfully prevent the uncomfortable feelings of panic and dread. This absence of pain is a powerful form of relief, and your brain quickly learns the connection. Avoiding the trigger equals safety. This reinforces the behavior, making you more likely to avoid not just that specific situation, but also other situations that seem even remotely similar. The strategy works so well in the short term that it becomes a primary coping mechanism. You start to believe that the only way to manage your anxiety is to carefully curate your life to eliminate all potential triggers. But this perceived safety comes at an enormous cost. Every time you avoid something you fear, you are reinforcing the brain's belief that the situation is genuinely dangerous and that you are incapable of handling it. You never give yourself the chance to have a corrective experience, an experience where you face the fear and discover that you can survive it, or that the catastrophic outcome you predicted doesn't actually happen. Your world begins to shrink, one avoided situation at a time. The list of places you can't go, things you can't do, and people you can't see grows longer and longer until you find yourself living in a small, self-imposed prison. This shrinking world is one of the most tragic consequences of the anxiety loop. Avoidance doesn't just feed the cycle, it gives it more power and control over your life. It validates the amygdala's false alarms and starves the rational part of your brain of any evidence to the contrary. By trying to protect yourself from discomfort, you inadvertently sacrifice your freedom, your growth, and your connection to the world. You teach your nervous system that the only state of being is one of high alert or complete retreat with no middle ground. This is how anxiety, left unchecked, can quietly take over your entire existence. The trap of overthinking, how rumination fuels the fire. Not all safety behaviors are external actions like checking or avoiding. Some of the most potent fuel for the anxiety loop comes from a purely mental process. Rumination. Rumination is the act of getting caught in a repetitive loop of negative thoughts, endlessly replaying a past event or worrying about a future one. You might lie awake at night, dissecting a conversation from earlier in the day, analyzing every word you said and worrying about how you were perceived. Or you might spend hours imagining every possible thing that could go wrong with an upcoming project, getting lost in a maze of what-ifs. We often mistake this process for productive problem-solving. We tell ourselves that if we just think about the problem long enough and from every possible angle, we can figure out a solution or prepare ourselves for the worst. It feels like we are being responsible and diligent. This sense of doing something, even if it is just thinking, provides a temporary illusion of control over an uncertain and frightening situation. Our brain latches onto this feeling, believing that this intense mental effort is a necessary strategy for survival. This makes rumination a very sticky and compelling habit, even as it makes us feel progressively worse. However, rumination is the polar opposite of problem solving. Problem solving is forward-moving and seeks solutions, whereas rumination is static and keeps you stuck in the problem itself. Instead of finding clarity, you just dig yourself deeper into a hole of fear and self-doubt. By constantly replaying anxious thoughts, you are practicing being anxious. You are actively strengthening the neural pathways of the anxiety loop, making those catastrophic thoughts more automatic and believable. You are essentially running a mental simulation of a threat over and over, which keeps your amygdala and your nervous system in a constant state of high alert. This mental rehearsal makes the abstract feel concrete. The more you ruminate on a feared outcome, the more real and inevitable it seems. You are feeding your brain a steady diet of scary stories about yourself and the world, which it takes as evidence that the danger is real and present. This intense mental activity acts as its own trigger, continuously restarting the anxiety loop from within. There is no external threat needed. Your own thoughts become the engine of your fear. Breaking free from the loop requires recognizing this mental trap for what it is, not a solution but a core part of the problem itself. Step 1. Recognize and name the loop. The first step in breaking the anxiety loop is simple recognition. Notice when anxiety arises, pause, and observe it gently without judgment. Name it. This is the anxiety loop. By labeling it, you create space between you and the feeling. This simple act demystifies anxiety and reminds you, You are not your anxiety. You are the observer. Each time you recognize and name the loop, you take back control. Step 2. Soothe your nervous system. When anxiety strikes, your body is flooded with stress hormones, primed for fight or flight. Reasoning with anxious thoughts is nearly impossible until you calm your body. Use conscious breathing, like the physiological sigh, 2 quick inhales through your nose, then a long exhale through your mouth. Or try holding an ice pack to your face. These techniques send your brain a signal. You are safe. This breaks the anxiety loop. After you've calmed your body, it's time to redirect your mind with gentle purpose. Don't argue with anxious thoughts. Shift your focus instead. Choose a neutral or constructive activity, like journaling, making tea, or engaging your senses. Pay attention to each step, anchoring yourself in the present moment. This conscious redirection starves anxious thoughts of attention, teaching your brain you have the power to choose. The final and most crucial step in this process is to repeat, repeat, repeat. Breaking the anxiety loop is not a one-time event. It is a skill that you build over time, just like strengthening a muscle. Every time you recognize the loop, soothe your body, and redirect your mind, you are casting a vote for a new way of being. You are actively participating in neuroplasticity, forming new neural connections based on new experiences. Approach this process with patience and self-compassion. Celebrate the small wins and treat each setback as an opportunity to learn more about your patterns. This is how you rewire your brain for good. Anxiety can feel like an endless loop: trigger, fear, physical sensations, and habits that keep us stuck. But this cycle isn't a personal failing. It's a learned pattern, powered by our brain's alarm system. The good news? It's not forever. With awareness, soothing our body, and redirecting our focus, we can break the loop. Neuroplasticity means we can rewire our brains for calm. The loop is real, but it can be unlearned. The knowledge you now have is your map, but the journey itself is made of small individual steps. The goal is not to eliminate anxiety forever. That would be an impossible and unnatural aim. The goal is to fundamentally change your relationship with it. It is about transforming your response from one of automatic, fearful reaction to one of conscious, compassionate awareness. Every single time you choose to recognize the loop, to take a slow breath instead of spiraling, or to gently redirect your thoughts instead of ruminating, you are taking a step down a new path. You are actively rewiring your brain and reclaiming your power, one moment at a time. Embrace the idea that this is a practice, not a performance. There is no pass or fail. There will be days when the old path feels overwhelmingly familiar and easy, and you may find yourself walking down it without even realizing it. When that happens, meet yourself with kindness, not criticism. Every moment is a new opportunity to begin again. The simple act of noticing, I'm on the old path again, is a victory in itself. It is a spark of awareness that was not there before. This journey is not about perfection. It is about persistence and the gentle, steady application of these new skills in the messy reality of everyday life. You are not broken, and you are not stuck. You are simply learning a new way to navigate your inner world. The anxiety loop has likely been your companion for a long time, carving deep grooves in your mind and body. Forging a new trail will take time, effort, and repetition. But that new trail leads to a place of greater freedom, confidence, and peace. A place where you are no longer a prisoner of your fear, but the conscious architect of your response to it. You have the tools. You understand the mechanism. You are capable of profound change. Trust in the process and in your own ability to heal. So, let this be your starting point. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. The next time you feel that familiar flicker of anxiety, see it as an invitation, an opportunity to practice. Recognize it. Name it. Take one slow, deep breath. Redirect your mind to the feeling of your feet on the floor. That small act is a revolution. It is you breaking the loop. It is you choosing a different future. You are not just learning to cope with anxiety, you are learning to break free from it. The path is open, and it begins with the very next step you take.